everyone. I'm Melissa McAllister, and you're listening to The Melissa Made Show. Now, for decades, I've dedicated myself to helping women break the cycle of dieting, navigate through all the fads, and change their lives through my nutrition coaching. Now, each week, I'm going to talk about everything from deep nutrition, mindset, self-care, the ideal workout routine, tips on how and why to implement intermittent fasting in your life, my favorite recipes that are not only crowd pleasers, but they're actually healthy for you, and so much more. Now, with small and consistent changes, you can defy aging while living a happier, healthier, and more heart-filled life. I'm so excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are so simple to adopt. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Melissa Made Show. So I'm a little bit beside myself this morning. I have a very special guest, someone that I have looked up to from afar, and I'm very excited to have you on here. Let me explain to you guys why I have our guest today. Several years ago, I meant to go look to see when I purchased this device, but I, on my own accord, all by myself, I think I was kind of sold on social media about this device called the Lumen. And I thought to myself, that is interesting. So I bought my very own Lumen, bought it myself, and I used it for a long time. As you guys know, I will never purchase anything and speak of it until I've given it kind of my own gold seal. So I had used the Lumen for quite a long time and started to share how I was using it to help my own goals of having a healthier metabolism and having better performance when I worked out, and started sharing that with you guys. And now we've created this community of people that use the Lumen. So right now, if you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say the Lumen, you need to listen to this. If you've been thinking of purchasing one and you're just on the fence, you need to listen to this. And if you have a Lumen and you use it, and I guarantee your mind is going to be blown. You have, and partially my fault, because this device keeps growing in its breadth of what it can do for us, especially women. And that's why I have Dr. Moore on today. She is, her and her twin sister are the founder of Lumen. And she's coming all the way from Tel Aviv to be on here with us. So for me, it's early morning. For her, it's in the evening. And she is going to absolutely blow our minds on what the Lumen does above and beyond, you guys, just kind of getting that number, engaging your amazing meal plans that come with it, but the science that's behind it, what else it can do for us, what they're working on now to make it even a more effective tool for us in the future. But I just wanted to give Dr. Moore, I want to give her a standing ovation. Can I just say that? I just want to stand up and say thank you because of all the devices that I have. And you guys do ask me a lot. If there was one thing, you always hear me oscillate between the Oura Ring and the Lumen. Those two things, I think, are essential tools for people really understanding how their bodies work. And like I said, it's an honor to have here. So thank you so much, Dr. Moore, for being here and taking your evening away from your little one to be with us. And I wanted to start this interview by asking you very simply, can you just explain, if you can very simply, actually, I would love it if you would kind of talk with us how the Lumen became about with you and your sister, and you're wanting to improve your own athletic performance, and how it kind of blossomed from this idea to being this huge company now helping millions of people.
Sure. First of all, I want to thank you, Melissa. It's a huge pleasure for me. And the truth is that I was asking to be your guest. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
I like talking with, strong women that has a philosophy that I believe and I connect with. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So Lumen basically began, from, as you already mentioned, from my twin sister and myself, my twin sister Merav. Both of us during our last year of PhD started to compete in Ironman competitions. And for us, it was as researchers that comes with a very strong background in physiology, it was very interesting for us to understand what makes someone an amazing athlete versus someone, not being able to finish such a competition. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Ironman competition, but it's a very long triathlon. So it's like you need to compete between 12 to 16 hours. And for us, the strategy was, let's understand the physiology behind that. Let's understand what is the physiology that enables someone to be an amazing athlete versus the other. And then we came up with the understanding that it's basically all about our metabolism. Our metabolism is it's basically our body engine. So there is a term known as metabolic flexibility. Our body has two main sources of energy, fat and carbs. And someone that his engine, his metabolism is working efficiently, it means that he's able to switch between using carbs and using fat in the right moment. So for an athlete, it will mean that during low intensity, 8 hours of very long cycling, it will mean that his body should tap into his fat stores, because carb stores are very limited. Yes. So you would like to save those stores to the moment that you're really going to need them. For example, during swimming when you need to pass someone, or during a hill when your heart rate is increased. Now, for us, it was 2011. The terms metabolic flexibility was not a common term. It was very limited to the academy. And for us, better understand what we should do in order to improve metabolic flexibility also wasn't clear. So we started to test many things on ourselves. We tested an MCT supplement before cycling. We switched between meals. So we ate our heavy meal, meatballs and pasta on 6 a.m. and then fast all day in order to improve our mitochondrial functionality, which is like it's a little organ inside our cells that knows how to use fat and carbs in order to produce energy. Eventually, we came with an amazing results, but still for us, like this, it was very vague, meaning how much we become more metabolically flexible. What exactly did we do that had the highest impact on our body? And from that very personal problem, we came up with the idea to take a gold standard that's been used since the 60s in hospitals and clinics that knows how to measure metabolism. But this technology is huge. Is told me before, yes, it's in the size of a table. It takes 35 minutes. You need to lie down, covered with something like an astronaut. It's like your metabolism is like a metabolism of vegetables. And we thought, how can we take this technology and made it accessible, insightful, that help users really to take smarter decisions about their lives, about their nutrition, their sleep, their movement, in order to see how they become more metabolically flexible and to help them reach their goals. Now, for us, it was to improve athletic performance, but there are many goals are basically an outcome of metabolic flexibility. It's about feel more energy, improve health, become more fit. Even the challenge that women experience during menopause or different symptoms during the monthly cycle, many of them can be solved if we're going to focus on our metabolism, which is the root cause of many of them.
Oh, that's so important for the women to hear. We tend to kind of look at the symptoms of menopause or look at the symptoms of PMS and want to kind of subdue the symptoms, but not work on the body in a way to make it so that menopause and PMS is less daunting on the body, that it's not, so debilitating, and that can be improved through an improved metabolism. You and I talked about, I found very interesting, something that Lumen, really focuses on are the 4 pillars to help someone improve their metabolism and to improve their quality of life. Can you share what those 4 pillars are?
Yes, sure. So metabolic flexibility is under our control. And we basically, by adopt a healthy habits around nutrition, movement, sleep, and mind. We can improve metabolic flexibility and lose weight, feel more energy, and improve, the same as you said, the symptoms of menopause. But I think that in those 4 pillars, there are many strategies. So in nutrition, I can do carb cycling. I can finish eating early. I can focus on functional nutrition, which is exactly the food I eat and how it contributes to my metabolism. There are many things that people can do, and the impact on each one of us completely different. This is why you can hear people say, but suddenly what I used to do when I was younger, it's not working for me anymore. Now, it totally makes sense. It's because our body is changing, and our body is impacted by different things, by many things. It's a complex machine. So it's like what Lumen does is like taking our body we used to treat it like a black box. Like, I don't really know if this is going to help me, but let's try and see, I don't know, 3 months from now if it's working. This very long feedback loop of putting my effort on a new habit, but not being able to measure the impact, it's very demotivated. So Lumen is like, she's provide you with a very fast and small feedback loop in which, by measuring to the Lumen device, you can really see from after 1 day of changing your behavior, you can see a change in the measurement. So it's like everything suddenly you can quantify. If I'm going to finish eating early yesterday, today, when I'm going to breathe into Lumen, I will see a change in my metabolism. And this self-validation that I'm putting my effort on the right things is really helping people. And this it helped them to put their motivation on the things that really has the highest impact, right? We are not able, to do everything, right? Okay, so I'm going to finish eating early, healthy carbs. I will implement movement. I will sleep better. If everyone going to be like that, so everything is amazing. But basically, all of us are looking for the highest impact with the lowest effort.
Yes, 100%. And what I do love is how, I don't think there's anything out there that is more, except maybe a CGM, that is more individualized. So everything that you're looking at is 100% your body. And I know there's a learning period with Lumen, which I think is great. It literally starts to learn you as a individual. And the longer that you use it, the more it understands you, and the recommendations that it makes for you are just mind-blowing. You mentioned really quickly the carb cycling. Can you kind of explain how the Lumen helps you with your carbohydrates? Because a lot of people will ask me, they're kind of confused about the carbohydrates, and to trusting the process of seeing it's a boost day or it's a low carb day, or can you just kind of explain how the carbohydrates play into, metabolic flexibility and the importance of having good, healthy carbs? And maybe your numbers aren't where you want them, and yet you still have a boost day and you're confused by that, to kind of trust the process and trust the device, because it's what is it measuring when it comes to giving you those carb recommendations?
Sure. So I will start with maybe explain a bit of why carb cycling is a strategy that it's worth trying. So carb cycling, it's basically you're altering between low carb days and high carb days. Now, there are many protocols for carb cycling. There are protocols in which you can do 6 days of low carb and then 1 day of high carb. There are protocols in which they will guide you to do a high carb on days that you do strength workout, and low carb when you do an aerobic workout. There is carb cycling in which you're just switching 1 day high, 1 day low. There are many protocols. Now, if you will understand no matter what the protocols, what is the idea behind it, then I would be able to explain what Lumen does. So on a low carb, the goal is basically to deplete our glycogen stores in order our body to shift into using mainly fat, and by that improve our mitochondria functionality. Now, on a high carb, the idea is to, in which you are boosting the carbs, the idea is to avoid the decrease in hormones, which called PDH and glycogen synthase. You want to avoid the stress hormone that accompanied to low carb. You want to increase your metabolic rate, and you want to increase the hormones known as leptin, which has a huge impact on the on cortisol hormone, which is the stress hormone. Now, this is the idea of of changing between low and high carbs, but our metabolism is complex. So when I should switch, when is the right time to do low carbs, and when is the right time to do high carbs? You know, I can look on a woman and see, okay, let's adjust it to the monthly cycle. So on the estrogenic phase, let's increase, you know, the carbs, and the progesterone phase, let's decrease the carbs, because our insulin sensitivity is changing. Basically, we are less metabolically flexible. And I can say for menopause, women, in order to avoid the increase in the cortisol, because we have a decrease in our estrogen level, let's also manipulate our carbs based on that. And as I mentioned before, let's use our workout routine in order to manipulate the carbs. So in days that I have more strength workout, let's use carbs around that also in order to refill our glycogen stores. So there are many factors that I can use in order to choose the right protocol for me. Now, it's very complex because it also impacted by our sleep. So on days that I'm not having enough sleep, also cortisol level increase. And in those days, I would like to eat more carbs in order to fight the cortisol. And also our mind, on days when we are more stressed, it's also about this stress hormone. So, you know, if you would be able, you know, to manage an Excel sheet with all the features and all the factors, and all the time say, okay, so what is, if I'm doing a workout and I'm on this phase of my monthly cycle, and this was my sleep, and that was my going to be my movement for today, this is the amount of carbs. If I will be able to calculate that and all the time understand how I'm impact to each of those factors that basically are changing on a daily basis, then this will be the right protocol for me. But, you know, it's very complex. It's a very complex machine in order to understand all those connections and all those factors. So what Lumen is bringing is like, put aside Excel. You don't need to calculate all those factors. You just need to bring to Lumen, and based on the way your metabolism responds to carbs, and the way we use your sleep, your movement, the way all the things that we learn about you, we all the time changing the amount of carbs. Now, some of those daily recommendation, you know, I can see and I can say, okay, this is because ABC. But sometimes, because it's like it's a learning machine, you know, it's complex. Sometimes even myself, when I'm getting 8 carb serving, I'm thinking, but why is that? Is that because I am on my pre-period now? Is this because I don't know, I increased the amount of steps in the last 6 days? Or is this because, you know, Lumen saw that I didn't get enough sleep and she wants to fight this cortisol level? So it's like, it's very complex. Most of the time we can give the rationale, but sometimes, you know, even myself, I don't know. I just know how Lumen learned, and this was the impact.
That's fascinating. And I know that most people, when they first see maybe an advertisement or hear someone like me talking about it, their first inclination to want to buy one, but there's nothing wrong with that, is to lose weight. They want to, you know, obviously use it to help them lose weight. Can the Lumen help you lose weight? And if it can, how does it help you in that area of losing that extra body fat?
Sure. So losing weight is an outcome of improving your metabolism. Many people can lose weight. I think the challenge here is about how you can maintain the weight that you lost. Yes. Now, the main problem with losing weight in to look on this journey like it's a magic, so let's do it fast. It's that we become less metabolically flexible during us achieving the weight loss. I mean, by increase our caloric in a radical way, but by not having enough protein. Basically, what is happening for us is that instead of losing belly fat, we losing muscle. And it can be, when you're standing on the scale, and this is your metric that you measure your success, 100%. So you can say, oh, wow, amazing. I lost 3 kilos, or I don't know, 5 pounds. But basically, it's not a real weight loss, because what you lost is basically your muscles. Now, the mitochondria that I mentioned before, that those are this little organ that find inside our cells and knows how to use fat and carbs, find mainly in our muscles. So when we are losing muscles, we basically become less metabolically flexible, and our metabolic rate decrease means that we're going to burn less calories. So sometimes you can find people say, I'm eating an apple and I'm not able to lose weight. So maybe she's not really eating an apple, but she's really in a very, very caloric deficit, and she reached to a plateau. So the challenge here is to help your body become like a fat burning machine. So your body will tap into his fat stores in every opportunity. Now, when I'm talking to you, so my body will tap into fat stores. I don't need to be in a very restrictive caloric deficit in order to do that. And the challenge here is that we keep our metabolism, this machine, in a way that when I'm eating carbs, for example, a bowl of pasta or pizza or rice, my body will use those carbs in order to produce energy, and will not store them as body fat. Now, many of our users reporting that they didn't see a huge change on the scale, but they did see a huge change in their clothes. Yes. So they decrease their size because their body, they become more fit. So when we are looking on the scale as a metric, this is not the right metric.
Yeah.
So this is how by improving your metabolic flexibility, it's not only that you're going to lose weight, you're going to be able to maintain it without starving yourself.
Yeah.
And we also see it if I want to, during menopause, one of the main problems is that we become less metabolically flexible. But also this is under our control, because it mainly happens because our body is so sensitive to muscle breakdown. So when we are not doing enough strength workout, and when we are not eating enough carbs and protein, we are so sensitive, even more than men, and then we are losing those mitochondria. Therefore, we decrease in the insulin sensitivity, the increase in cortisol level, and all of these are taking us in the wrong direction of metabolic flexibility, and we gain weight, and we feel sluggish and don't have enough energy. This is all because of this root cause of metabolic flexibility.
Yeah. And again, I love the fact of that, because I think probably in the last 6 months, one of the most common questions I'm getting is women that are hitting their perimenopause or menopause and saying that weight is coming on, or, they're trying so hard and doing everything they can on their own to lose the weight, especially the belly weight that just seems to be coming out of nowhere, and to have something outside of a scale to measure, that you're improving that metabolic flexibility, which will obviously keep you feeling and looking your best into those perimenopause and menopausal years, is very profound and very motivating, like you said, to see those little tiny changes. For me personally, if the scale changes it can change every time. If you get on the scale 7 times in a day, every number is going to be different, and it's got no measure whatsoever on how much body fat you're losing. It's just gravity versus something like this that really, actually gets inside and measures the things that really matter. When I first started using Lumen, and maybe this is why I got the advertisement in the first place, Dr. Moores, I joke that I was an accidental intermittent faster for many, many years because I just was never a breakfast person, and I would eat after I worked out. And I've done that for almost 30 years now. And now it's kind of intentional because I've learned that I feel really good that way. It keeps me nice and lean, but that's just for me. But if I recall it, and tell me if I'm wrong, I recall Lumen being pretty pro fasting for metabolic flexibility. Is that something that is still encouraged with using the Lumen, or over the years of the science that you guys and the data that you've collected, that fasting is just very individual and it's good for some people and other people not so much? 8-hour abs, that sounds like a dream, right? What if I told you could work on those abs while you dream? It's not too good to be true, I promise. It's something I discovered almost accidentally that gives you incredible results with minimal effort. The idea behind this is actually in what you're not doing. By giving your digestion time to rest, you allow your body to tap into its fat stores, hence working on that six-pack while you sleep. All you have to do is eat within an 8-hour window and leave the rest up to your body. I wrote the 8-hour abs diet back in 2014 to help people learn about the importance of meal timing. Intermittent fasting has been a huge part in helping me stay in the shape that I am. For me, intermittent fasting means eating in an 8-hour window, and I'll give you my insight on it in this free ebook. With proper meal timing, you will not only look better, but you're going to feel better too. So learn more by visiting melissamaidaonline.com/ebooks and get your free copy of the 8-hour abs diet today.
First of all, it's so nice to hear about your experience with Lumen. So thank you for that. For me, every time that someone is sharing from his own experience, I'm exciting. It's like, I don't know, I'm with Lumen from 2011 and I'm still getting excited. So thank you.
It's your baby. It's your baby.
So regarding your question, fasting, it's another strategy that's worth trying. The same as, I wish I can, say, look, Melissa, this is what's working. This is the playbook. And sometimes, people I know are looking for that. And I have a continuously discussion with the marketing team. Look, but give me those 4 tips in which I can blah, blah. But I don't have those 4 tips because it's personal. This is against what Lumen believes. So I know that sometimes we are looking to get those 4 tips, but I really don't have it. And regarding fasting, the same as carb cycling, that should be personal, and it is strategy that might work for you, but might not. And what is the right protocol? This is what Lumen bring for you, this ability to experiment, to take this strategy, to use Lumen in order to understand your body, how your body responds to that. So also about fasting, I can say from my own experience that before I celebrate 40, fasting did not have such a huge impact on my body. Since I got to the age of 30, somehow it has a huge impact. The way how I'm eating when I'm finish my dinner has a huge impact, and when I'm starting the first meal for the day has a huge impact. But I can also say that, before Lumen, there was 1 million metabolic measurement in the world.
Yes.
After Lumen, we have 45 million metabolic measurement. So it's like we have a huge data, and Lumen is also published. From that data, we see many insights, and we have published many articles around that. So I can say that fasting, we see that fasting is working for some, and for others, not only that it's not working, but it also has the disadvantages of insert our body into this stress mode. Mm-hmm. And when stress mode comes, one, our body is breaking down muscles, which is going back to what I explained before. The second is because cortisol level increase. So cortisol has four times receptor in our belly. So it means that when we are going to consume food, we're going to gain fat, especially in our belly. So this is what happens. So it's not only that those, and this is, we see especially in women under the age of 45. So it's when we are so sensitive to hormones, and fasting make those hormones a mess. Above the age of 45, we see that fasting has more, it has more benefits with women. So again, it's like it's a strategy like every other, and there are many things out there that can work. And this is exactly what Lumen comes to solve. Okay, so let's see if this is working for you. You know, and if not, sorry, and if not, so let's understand what might working for you. And, you know, there are people, even for me, that, you know, I know that fasting is working for me. To say that I'm doing that, no. No, but I balanced it with other strategies. So with Lumen, it's like it's a no-failure experience. You can also test other things in order to balance, you know, your bad behavior in other area, because eventually this is life, right? You need to you need to choose your to choose where you put your effort on.
Right. So if somebody doesn't own a Lumen, or they have one and they used it for a while and they stopped using it, they're coming back, or they're just purchasing one, what do you suggest? Do you suggest they just start eat the way that they do and just start breathing into it so the Lumen can learn them, to immediately start following, you know, the wonderful, you know, macros? And you guys, if you haven't been on yours for a while, or you don't have one and you open it, you're going to be, number one, blown away at the organization. It's the app is it's beautiful. Props to you guys. And I love the mindset tools. I love the short little videos. And I even love the people that you choose to talk to you about these mindset moments. I love the gentleman and I love the lady. You did a great job picking them. So you've got that mindset aspect. It you know, your cycle, your menstrual cycle, it starts to track that with your help. There's just so many things. It's very girthy. There's just so much. It can be a little overwhelming in the beginning. So when someone's just purchasing one, or someone is just like, okay, you reignited my interest in my Lumen, where do they start? What's to keep them from feeling overwhelmed or being really confused and stressed out, which we don't want you to be stressed. What do you just suggest people do when they just start using this device?
So I think that most of us find it easy to be extremely guided at the beginning. So, you know, you don't have to understand the science, and you don't have to understand exactly your results. I mean, why today, when I measured my metabolism, I see that I'm using mainly carbs or mainly fat. I mean, the why behind is like, you can better understand it, dive into it, but you don't have to. So at the beginning, for example, my big sister, she's using Lumen, I don't know, for 3 years, and she's still at the beginner phase. She's just tell me, what should I do? Yeah. And Lumen is like, well, the experience is building in a way that you can use Lumen and bring it to the Lumen device and just follow the guided nutrition. Just see what you should eat to breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. You will be able to change your meals based on your favorite. We can adjust it. We are adjusting it based on what you see that you like the most. So you can use Lumen only for that. And we in the backend are doing all the models in order to personalize it. We provide you with a weekly score of how your metabolism got better, which is has a huge correlation to you being able to achieve your goals. So you can do only that. I think that at the moment that you're starting to do that, then people are starting to be more interested about the why and about the education and about the physiology. So we can see users that comes, for example, in a very clear goal of weight loss. Mm-hmm. And when they are sharing their experience, they're not talking about the weight loss. They're not talking about the weight on the scale. They are talking about how they become more metabolically flexible, how their energy level improved, how their menopause symptoms got better, how they are able to fight with the those craving and those snacking during the day or this drop of energy. So it's like they come with a goal, and then by small pieces of education that they are experience, they change their mindset. And you can see it very nicely in the community. And for me, this is an amazing achievement, because this is what Lumen bring. It's like, don't focus on the number on the scale. So it's the first time that you are able really to measure what is happening inside your body. And for me to think that, it's very nice. But I also know that the same as I said, there are different personas. There are people that want to be very guided. People want this guided, but they want the flexibility. Mm-hmm. And there are people that want, I don't want Lumen to tell me what to do. I want to test different things on my own and to better understand what is the impact. I want to, to test a new workout, to measure before and after, and to see what has the highest impact on my body, to see whether I shifted to fat burn. Mm-hmm. So what Lumen is doing now, we are building a new experience that exactly tailored to that. An experience in which we are taking the users in a journey that we provide this guidance around those 4 lifestyle pillars: nutrition, movement, sleep, and mind. Inside this guidance, we're asking them to measure in a specific time of the days. We provide them with the insight. For example, when you finish eating early, you increase your daily fat burn 20%, you improve your metabolic flexibility in 2 points, and you get closer in 1 week to your goal. Yeah. But beside that, we also give them the flexibility to say, I'm not interested in that strategy of finish eating early. Can I test that? Can I test this carb cycling for women? Or can I test this water challenge? There are so many things out there that can work for us. So this is the new experience that now we are building, because the same as you just said, users are still find it a challenge. It's like it's overwhelming. It's like too much sometimes at the beginning.
It's just, I'm grinning ear to ear. It's so exciting for me, because I am obviously, just like you and your sister, are just so nerdy when it comes to how the body works, and to have a tool that, says, hey, this worked really well for you, or this is the best strategy for you, is very empowering. Can you, generally speaking, I know this is going to be very hard because it is an individual journey, but can you kind of share the best times to use the Lumen? Obviously, when you wake up, first thing in the morning, with each meal, when you exercise, and I would love to make this a very complicated question for you. Also with exercising, if you measure before you exercise and after, what are you looking for? What the readings that you get, what is the outcome that you're hoping to see when you do the exercise? So about, how many times would you say it's most beneficial to measure during the day? And then especially for when you exercise, how is the Lumen helpful? Because obviously most people, including myself, use it for the nutritional aspect, but to also incorporate it for you too, which is why it was created, for the performance and getting the most out of your exercise. How is the Lumen helpful?
Sure. So the basic experience and the mandatory measurement is the morning measurement. This is like, it's the cleanest measurement. It's the measurement we are not measuring the food that you are just eat. So it's clean from this digestive system, the energy that's coming from the digestive system. And it basically allows Lumen to learn how those 4 lifestyle pillars impact you without having any noise. This is why this measurement is the cleanest and the most important. I guess that when you made the indirect calorimetry measurement for you, they asked you not to eat before, to sleep enough, and not to do any exercise right before, because then you measure the lifestyle that happens near this measurement. So this is the basic measurement that we are guiding the users to do every day. You can also use Lumen if you mentioned fasting. So users use Lumen in order to optimizing the fasting window. So they measure in the morning, and if they see that their body didn't tap into their fat stores, what represent a healthy body, they will prolong their fast. And then after 1 hour, they will do another measurement. And they will see a shift toward using more fat. And then if they want, they can even prolong their fast. And then at some point, they will see that their body did not shifted anymore into more fat. And sometimes, as I mentioned before, it's exactly the opposite. Then they see how their body now starting to go back to burn carbs. In that moment, it means that cortisol level started to increase. And it basically, because when cortisol is high, so our body is not able to use fat for energy, and is more likely to store the food that we eat into fat stores. So this is another application. If you are doing fasting and you want to optimizing your fast, this is something you can do. Another thing is the before bed measurement. So some of us, are used to wake up in the morning and eat breakfast at the moment they open their eyes. And skipping breakfast, as I mentioned just before, it's like it's not realistic. At the moment that I open my eyes, I need to eat something. So then the before bed measurement can be a great tool in order to understand when is the right time that I should finish finish eating. So if I see that I'm going to bed all the time when I'm burning mainly carbs, for example, Lumen level 5, and then I wake up in the morning, Lumen level 4, which means that I'm burning now less carbs and more fat. So it's like during the night we see this shift, but still waking up 4 in the morning is like, it means that I'm eating too much, or that my fasting window is not long enough. So for them, they will try to finish eating 1 hour early and then taking the before bed measurement. And instead of going to bed with Lumen level 5, which means that I'm burning mainly carbs, they will see Lumen level 4 or Lumen level 3, which means that they are less in a carb burn mode and more fat, which will impact also on the morning level. But we also see here, this is why it's very important to test it, because, for example, we see for women during their menopause, also we are going back to cortisol and to this decrease in insulin sensitivity and in blood glucose. Mm-hmm. So one of the phenomena during menopause is that we are not sleeping well. We wake up during the night, which is like it's a loop, because then we don't sleep enough, and then again cortisol even increase more, and we become less metabolically flexible, which then we are struggling to maintain our weight. So we see, and this is here also my biggest sister, mm-hmm. that when you're eating carbs before going to bed, it has a positive impact on your morning measurement. If you eat food that, for example, rich in melatonin, in vitamin D, in magnesium, this is what's called as functional nutrition. So those type of food will fight the cortisol, will help you during the night to keep your blood glucose stable, and then wake up. So you're waking up much more refreshed. you had a very good night's sleep, you fight this cortisol, and you're going to say in the morning that you are using, that your body is using mainly fat, which what characterize a healthy metabolism, a healthy body. So this is also something that we see, and it's also depend on who you are. So those are people, women especially, that are going to benefit from eating carbs before going to bed, complex carbs rich in melatonin, magnesium, calcium. And there are people, we see them under the age of 45, that are going to benefit from not having carbs.
Yeah.
And regarding the movement and how you can use Lumen in order to optimize your movement, first of all, users that are more active, for them it's also, we see that some of them, it's helped them to eat carbs before going to bed, because when we are extremely active, we need those carbs in order to avoid this stress mode. And many of our users which are athletes, the way I use Lumen is that I'm taking my measurement before the workout, and based on the type of the workout, I decide whether I should consume carbs or I have enough carbs. And I think this is typed into a conflict that many women, especially women, have, because we know that carbs are important, right? You know that carbs are important for your performance.
Yes.
But still, we have this conflict. I know I should eat carbs, but I also want to preserve my lean body mass. So what should I do? I mean, where is this line? How much I should eat? I mean, I want to eat enough carbs in order to support my workout, but then I want at the same time also to preserve lean body mass. So maybe I don't need those carbs. So this is also a moment in the day that Lumen help you to take smarter decisions. So based on your measurement before the workout, and based on the type, the duration, and the intensity of the workout, Lumen provide you with the recommendation of, do you have enough energy? Do you have enough carbs? Or maybe you should eat a banana in order to support that type of workout. Some of our users also taking the measurement after the workout in order to see the impact, meaning they want to see if, for example, I burned mainly carbs before. I want to see how I depleted my glycogen stores, and I want to see that I reached into this fat burning mode. Mm-hmm. Now, this measurement is very sensitive to the type of workout that I did, because I see that sometimes, if I'm going to do a high intensity workout, my body a healthy body will use carbs during the workout. And then when I'm going to measure after, I'm going to measure like the carbs, the leftovers of the carbs that's still in my blood, because I have a healthy body and I tapped into my carb stores.
Right.
So it's important to do this measurement when your heart rate returned to baseline. And then it's called a metabolic fit. I mean, how fast your body is shifted between using carbs during the workout to tap into the fat stores, which is when your heart rate now return to normal, and then your body is now shifted back. So athletes using that, they want to see the slope. Okay, so now I mainly carbs, and then the faster I'm shifted back to fat, it's also how fit I am.
Yeah. Oh,
I hope it was a question. It was a very long answer.
No, that was absolutely perfect. I love it. And I know we're running out of, gosh, I could talk to you for hours, running out of time. Two quick questions, or two more questions. We talked before we pushed record a little bit about shift workers. And we know how, that's very hard on the body, but that actually using the Lumen as a shift worker has obviously positive effects too for you, understanding, because your metabolism obviously is a little bit different than somebody who sleeps overnight. Whether you work night shift all the time or partially, it plays a different role. And, a lot of people with, my love of fasting want to fast. but don't know how to do that as a shift worker. It seems as though Lumen would do a very good job of helping you understand when to eat, how much to eat, and what to eat based on how your body is reacting to these different time shifts, because obviously our hormones and everything, our circadian rhythm is so off. Do you concur that the Lumen is really good for shift workers?
Yes, exactly. Because I think that for everyone that don't know what is the right thing for him and are confusing from all the solutions out there, and because of sometimes, you know, when we have too much, it's like a child, we don't know what to choose. It's
Yes.
like if I'm going to put, you know, my little one, and I'm going to give him, you know, choose a present. So if I'm going to give him too many options, he just will not know what to do, and eventually will not choose anything. So I think that this is this confusion of I don't know what to choose, what is working for me. This is exactly the challenge, the problem that Lumen comes to solve, because eventually it gives clarity. It gives this self-efficacy that what I'm doing is the right things. So yeah, so for night shift, I mean, for everyone that don't know what is right for him,
right.
Lumen is the solution, because it enables you to see and to measure what is happening inside your body, and then you can choose. You are empowered to choose, and it's not like this is the diet, this is what you should do, this is the only things that are going to work for you. No, it's not. There are many things that can work for me. It's like
yeah, and honestly, I think that's kind of the analysis paralysis with all of the social media and the beautiful, you know, fit influencers and the different dietetics and nutritionists and functional medicine doctors and conventional doctors all out there giving different, you know, opinions about what is best for you as an individual. I think having a tool that will tell you, no, this is it. And if you hear something from an influencer or from, you know, someone that you admire in the health space, you can try it, but you've got this little device that's going to tell you, yeah, this is great for you, or not so much, you know, continue doing what you were doing because this shift is not taking you in the direction that you want to go. I would assume you guys would definitely agree with that. And Dr. Moore, I want to ask you to talk about maybe the Institute partners or how Lumen has been validated over the years working with some pretty big organizations. Can you share with people who you work with outside of just, you know, the consumer that might see it from an influencer or social media, what you're doing, you know, in the space of medicine?
Sure. So Lumen, beside the what is known as, you know, B2C, I mean, direct to consumer, Lumen is focused on two main channels. One is through clinics. So we have, you know, doctors that has program in order to improve the client's health, and part of this program they giving Lumen, and by that they have the ability to see the progress without the client visit them in the clinics. So they have those dashboard, and they can see the metabolism in real time, and to see whether there is a problem, and then they can contact him based on specific trigger. It also, because Lumen show a very positive impact on health and on weight and on energy level. So for those doctors in those clinics, it's like it's a solution, it's off-the-shelf solutions that they can give their clients, and then they can make sure that they have a positive engagement with their health. So this is one. And the second is, as I mentioned before, through researchers and academic institute that basically, since it was, I think 4 years ago, that the San Francisco State University published an articles that show that Lumen, if you would take the Lumen measurement, you would get the same results if you would take the measurement in hospitals using the gold standard, which known as indirect calorimetry. So in that moment, it really opened the gate with research institute, and they use Lumen as a measurement tool. So instead of going to the hospitals, especially during COVID, when the hospitals was, you know, it was a challenge, So they use Lumen in order to run experiment where they can measure metabolism, in real time. Even today, researchers understand that the real research is happening outside the lab. Because when you're doing it in the lab, it's like you're not really measuring the real behavior of stuff.
Right.
So for them, it's like they can run experiment in a larger testers, and they can measure in real life, and they have all the data. So for them, it's much more easier for them and insightful for them to do that. So those are the other two channels that Lumen is working.
Yeah, well, it's so exciting for me because I don't, all of my followers know I don't. I have probably one hand of all the tools that I recommend in your whole health journey. And it always starts with me purchasing that myself. And I remember, Dr. Moore, back in the day when I first got it, we had to blow in it 3 times instead of just the one. The technology has gotten so good now, and it's so beautiful. I love the voice that comes on and it directs you on how to, give the correct breath. It's mind blowing to watch this tool evolve over the years, and I cannot imagine where it's going. And I feel very blessed to and grateful that I get the opportunity to share this. And for so many, since I've started using this, I'm saying this publicly, Dr. Moore, so you can hold me accountable and my following as well. I wanted to always create a group, like a Facebook group of my Lumen users, to collaborate and to feel that community and to understand it better and to have a little bit more of that positive peer pressure to use it and to really let it learn your body, and for you to even though sometimes it's, in the beginning a little bit harder because you're breaking habits and creating new habits with using a device that's really going to teach you about your own metabolic flexibility. I will put together a Facebook group of all of my Lumen users so that we can support each other. And I love this device. I use it in Mexico and I use it here, and I use it every single morning. I don't post every single morning because I figure that would get boring to my followers, but it is something that I use every single day. And I'm going to start using it for my exercise as well. You did a beautiful job of explaining that. I've never really, because I do, in being 49 years old, almost 50, I want to improve my performance. And I don't think there's a better tool for me to use to understand what I'm doing is, as someone, who wants to keep that muscle mass going into my later years in life, but also want to improve that lung capacity and that heart health. Am I doing the right exercises? I don't know. I'm doing, the same thing I've been doing for 10 years. Maybe I need to switch it up. So thank you so much. This has been mind blowing, as I knew it would be. And I appreciate you coming on here and sharing with the audience this tool. I will continue to be a huge fan of it. And for you guys, and obviously in the show notes, and anytime I talk about it, I have a link for you to learn more about it, or if you're ready to purchase, there's always a little deal there for you. But once again, thank you for your time, and thank your sister for creating something that is truly, truly just really start to dive into this little piece of machinery. And thank you. You guys, the battery on that thing lasts forever. I mean, you never have to charge it. It's so travelable. I mean, I can take it anywhere and I don't have to bring a charger if I'm going to use it for a week. It's the perfect device. So I am very, very honored to have you on today. Very blessed to be a part of sharing this wonderful device. And I hope we can have you on again real soon.
Oh, it will be a huge pleasure. Thank you, Melissa. I had such a great time. Seriously, I can keep talking with you for hours.
Totally. All right, you guys. Well, as always, I hope you wake up feeling prepared and you go to bed feeling proud. Have a great day. Wow, we've reached the end. But before I leave you, I'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion. And to me, your opinion does matter. So please share this episode with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Melissa McAllister. And until next time, thank you for being your own health advocate.